Okay, so we've all heard that everything is bigger in Texas, but that doesn't just go for its land size or person size. That also goes for how much history it holds in it too. One fun fact about Texas is Texas is the only state in the United States that was once a country before it was a state. Today, I'm going to inform you about the history of Texas, its previous owners, why it was its own country, and why it got annexed into the United States. In 1836, Texas declared its independence from Mexico. Here, it was its own republic. Its people had its own form of government, and they sustained themselves for close to, I think, 4 to 5 years. And they did a very good job at it. But the Texas independence contains a lot of awesome history about it and why it got annexed, and a lot of awesome history like the Alamo and Texas legends like Davy Crockett, Daniel Bowie, and all those. David G. Burnett was the first president of Texas, then preceded by Sam Houston. And then after that, there was 3 more terms in which one Sam Houston served a second term as the great president of Texas. But as we all know, or some of us may know, Texas started to tank as an economy and as a state or a republic, if you will, and it needed a big brother, or a helping hand almost. But it had a lot of attention from 3 countries, U.S., Britain, and Mexico. So a lot of interest surrounds the state of Texas when it comes to wanting to be annexed. For its resources, its abundance amount of land, and really good farmland and fertile soil, and it has access to water, the Gulf of Mexico. So it has a lot of potential to be a really good state. And as you can see right here, in these 2 maps, they're both the same. One's a little bit bigger, but you have 4 main rivers that run to its Gulf, and that provides a lot of trade and market and commerce as it is. And also, when annexed with Texas, you get all of this territory that followed the Rio Grande. And so obviously, if you were looking to annex Texas, you were looking on to add a huge, huge part onto whatever country you were. Now, in 1843, the United States President John Tyler hoped to build a campaign completely around annexing Texas. But a lot of people in the United States had problems with annexing Texas because 1, Britain wanted to use it, and 2, they didn't want to get in a quarrel with Mexico while Mexico was trying to regain its territory back. So there were a lot of ifs, ands, and buts around the state. So Britain's main reason for wanting to obtain the state of Texas was to create an emancipation, just like the United States Emancipation Proclamation that Abraham Lincoln wrote for the slaves. It would be just like that, but instead of using it to free the slaves, they were just going to undermine the whole slave business as a whole and retake over America was their plan. Same thing with Mexico. So obviously, the United States wanted to get a hold of that Texas territory way before everybody else did, so they could have a little piece of power in that part of the land. Well, all this speculation around Texas, obviously, like I said, piqued John Tyler's interest. And when he became more open about it, it gained a lot of popularity from the United States citizens as a whole. So, anyway, the Union was extremely torn about taking on Texas because it was a pro-slavery state, and it would be annexed as a southern state. And they, at the time, didn't want the tides of the country tilting in the south side for slavery to take over. So there was a huge public debate about all of this. And that was until it caused a giant feud, you could say, until the election of 1844. And this is how USA won over Texas. Pretty much how they got the 28th state of the United States was by finessing their system, their own system. The Southern Democrats, who were pro-annexation, were told everybody that they were voting for Martin Van Buren, one of the presidential, one of the candidates at the time. And after and anyway, when they decided that they wanted Texas, they completely rebuked what they said about him and completely singled him out as a whole as a person and got him completely off the board for or the electors for running for president. And instead, they went with James K. Polk, who was pretty much pro everything, with both sides of the fence, with both the Union and the Confederacy. How they did that, the Democrats from the southern end of the states and the Democrats from the northern end both got together, and they created pretty much an alliance to get James K. Polk in the office. So they succeeded in that. And then by March 1st, 1845, Texas got annexed to the USA, I should say. Texas getting annexed was a really big deal for America as a whole. A lot of the phrase "manifest destiny" is thrown around a lot when it comes around to the whole Louisiana Purchase and annexing Texas. It's pretty much, in layman's terms, it's just the movement west to get all your development from one side of the country to the other side of the country, and they wanted to move west. So getting hold of Texas and making that a foothold in their progress was huge for the United States. And James K. Polk and Manifest Destiny pretty much saved Texas from collapsing in on itself and its own government and going back to Mexico, and it helped it become a part of a better nation. And, yep, that's it.